Hey there, this is Alex Kluge. I'm here from Toronto Home Experts, and I'm here to dive into the July 2021 Toronto real estate market update. Now, before we get into the numbers, I want to just explain a few things because on the surface, the numbers aren't going to look that great when we're comparing it to July 2020, which is what we're going to be doing during this video. But July 2020, we saw a lot of pent up demand, a lot of primarily due to the pandemic, just because very low sales volumes during March, April, May, and June. Really things started rolling, and then July was really when we started seeing significant sales volume. So when we're comparing July to this year, we have to take into context that last July was a little bit of a different year and certainly not normal because typically what happens is we see a little bit of a lull during the summer month, July, August, and then we see the fall market really accelerate come just after Labor Day. So sales volume, when we're looking at last year to this year for July, they're down 15%. So overall, you might look at that and say, wow, that's pretty surprising. Actually, I'm not surprised because of what I just said in terms of the abnormal July that we had last year. But what I find really interesting is when we're looking at active listings. So when we're comparing July 2021, July 2020, we were down 35.2%, which is significant. What is actually more interesting is that July 2021 active listings at 9732 is the lowest July we've had on record for over 15 years. So that's pretty startling. So what does that say? We have like really low inventory, which has been a common theme that we've talked about on this video for quite some time, but unusually low inventory for the month of July. And so why is that? Well, I think we've had a real extended run of sales, and we're looking at really from January until June, when normally the real estate market only starts picking up in parts of February and really into March for the spring market. We had a pretty extended spring market, which is why I think July active listings went down. And also, too, now with restrictions being lifted last July or this July, sorry, we saw people are going away. They're maybe taking some time off, not thinking about selling or buying a home. So those are all factors into why I think the numbers were as low as they were. But this is actually going to be a telling sign to see where active listings go come August, which I suspect they're going to be low as well. But September, will be the true test to see what happens. Because usually what happens in September is the fall market is a lot shorter than the spring market. Usually, like the fall market's about 2.5 months, whereas the spring market can be, anywhere from like late February to early July. So things are a lot more compressed. So September will be really, really interesting to see what happens during over the course of this fall market. So when we're looking at again, not surprising that we've had down 30% when we're comparing last July to this July. Again, this goes hand in hand with what I was just saying about being low inventory, which is obviously a concern if you're buying, great if you're selling. So average price. So average price, when we're looking at comparing it to year over year, is we're up 12%, which is, in a vacuum, you look, that's great. But what actually is happening is the average price from June to this, like a month ago, June to July, was down like 2.5%. So, in a vacuum, people say, oh, prices are falling. Like, is this a concern? And actually, it's really not because it's pretty normal, aside from last June. If you look at all the past June to July average prices, typically we'll see a dip in July. And that's primarily due to summer lull, slowdown in summer market, excess inventory from June selling into July at a lower price point. So that's usually a factor. And on average, actually, we see anywhere between like a 3 to 4% decline in prices from June to July. So the fact that we only had 2.5% actually is quite good. Also, what's interesting is, when you're looking at what's happening in the condo market is there's really been a revival of condo sales, especially downtown. When I'm talking about C1, CO8, south of Bloor, um, we're seeing actually over 50% of all condos that sold within the month of July actually sold over the asking price in downtown, which is pretty surprising. And that wasn't happening in March, April, February. The over asking sales were much lower. So that's actually a positive sign for the condo market downtown. And why do I think that's happening? Well, I think condos have really been hit the worst when it comes to the pandemic in terms of average sale price increases relative to where they were pre-pandemic. So we're seeing a little bit of catch up. I also think there's some renewed confidence in the downtown market. So we're seeing a lot of buyers stepping in. Also, a lot of investors. A lot of those over asking um, sale prices were on lower price units. So that could mean a combination of first time home buyers coming into the market, um, investors feeling confident due to low rates. But anyways, great news for the downtown core and what that means for uh, that market moving forward, especially this fall. Okay, so days on market, we're down slightly, like 2 days from last July to this July. It doesn't say too much, but again, it goes hand in hand with what we were just talking about with um, low inventory. So that's typically a function of low inventory when you have low day on market, coupled with lower sales volumes. So okay, so we're talking about months of inventory. Again, not a surprise when we're saying that there's low inventory. There's even 1.1 months of inventory when we're comparing it to last July to this July, which is pretty substantial. Again, take this with a little bit of a grain of salt because we're looking at a 1 month snapshot in a low inventory month. Again, August, I can see similar numbers, probably around the 1.2, 1.3 range, somewhere in that scope. But the real test will be September after Labor Day. We're going to see typically a flood of new listings. So the month of inventory and how healthy that number looks for September is going to be a real test of what we're going to see coming forward in this fall market. So again, this goes to say that when you're looking at the sales comparisons and volumes and inventory from last July to this July, it doesn't look good in a vacuum. But when you dial down and really look at some of the metrics, you're seeing it's still a very, very healthy market. We did see a little bit of a price decline from last month. And actually, if you look at where average prices are from February 2021 to July 2021, they're about flat. So prices have kind of reached a new plateau because we did see a real big uptick kind of from November, December to end of January, early February. So we're kind of at a new plateau. It'll be interesting to see what happens this fall if we're going to see a little bit more acceleration in price increases. But we'll only get that come September. So we're seeing renewed interest downtown Toronto, which is good news for the overall market in Toronto, and we expect that to continue as we go into August, September, October. So, anyways, if you have any questions or you have any feedback, please do not hesitate to reach out to us by any of our social channels. Please follow us on Instagram, Facebook. We're posting lots of great updates and contests, so be sure to subscribe. And we'll see you on the next episode. Thanks so much. Bye for now.